Hey guys, it's been a hot minute. I know. Uh Last time I was recording on this channel, I had decided to switch over to being primarily a streaming type of channel, promoting books. Um but I wasn't really getting into it enough. I just don't, I feel like with most people who do that, like they're more well versed in the ins and outs of the business aspect of it. I'm mostly just kind of an art guy, so um, I just felt like I didn't really have a lot to contribute to that area. So switched gears. I was gonna let this YouTube channel kind of just go its way because I'm already not getting a heck of a lot of views and um I had tried it for a good while and it just didn't seem like we were getting anywhere. But I'm gonna try to upload content anyway now. Um, I gotta do something. Um, yeah, pop culture wise, what is going on? Disney sucks as a company. They've proved that many times. Um, so yeah, I was actually really getting into WandaVision for a good while there. I liked the direction that they were going with it because it was really hard to figure out a new direction for the MCU because where they were really the the end of Avengers Endgame, in my opinion, could have been the end of the MCU. They could have just wrapped it up right there, and it would have been fine. You'd get a few people whining on the internet, but it would go away quick. But they want to keep that gravy train rolling. So when I was examining it, uh, it looked like all their future titles were gonna be just pandering to uh, different activist groups from the internet. Um, but WandaVision seemed to be a fun new way to approach it. When I first saw the trailers for it, I thought it was I thought it was going to be like an art house type of show. I thought it was going to be everything is a giant metaphor for something about society, and there's a decent bit of that in there. It's not void of all the annoyances, but the annoyances aren't the main focal point of the show. It's all kind of few and far between in regards to what people do with that. And yeah, no, I really liked the recent little twist. I'm gonna do spoilers. I talk vaguely about a lot of shit, but I mean I gotta do spoilers. I think most people watching this aren't gonna watch WandaVision. Uh, if you were planning to, I would. I can't. Like it's your business. You do what you want to do. Um, I just, the way the Disney company has been conducting itself, it's like the more people who support Disney Plus and all that, the more they get the message that that behavior is okay. They can get away with it. It's fine. Um, so, I would recommend do not sign up for Disney Plus. But spoiler alert. So, yeah, basically this whole time, what we a lot of people were surmising was was pretty much true, that Wanda's using her powers to create an alternate reality, um, in which in the process of the in creating this alternate reality for herself, it's a way that she's avoiding her grief and her trauma over what happened to Vision at the end of Endgame. So they did a really great job with replicating the style of the different sitcoms throughout the years. You know, they start off with the 50s, then they went to the 60s, then they went to the 70s. Uh, then they had an episode where there was a break where we got the story of Monica Rambeau, who's a big part of the story now. She's the main one working for Sword. Sword is surrounding the hex. That's what they call it. The alternate reality that Wanda set up in Westview, New Jersey. And they've been trying. It's been sort of like a standoff, you know. They've been trying to get her to release the people from the thing. Of course, we recently learned in the latest episode that, of course, that it's the fault of the evil white guy working for Sword. Um, he's trying to weaponize Vision, and so like that's the real reason behind all this. It's not actually protecting people, or you know, it really deflated the dynamic you had going, because in the beginning it seemed like there was a reasonable debate happening on the show where Monica Rambeau is trying to convince the Sword guy to basically, you know, it's like we can't approach this going in guns blazing. We gotta at least try to negotiate with her somewhat, because she's the one causing all this, and we don't know what'll happen if we take her out, you know, prematurely or anything like that. And I mean, they peppered it with a lot of modern day references to third wave feminism and all this stuff. You can tell, like, from the dynamic of the show, it's the evil white guy is stubborn and hard headed and won't listen to what anybody else has to say. And he's, of course, fascistic and a jackbooted thug, blah, blah, blah. The typical stereotype. Um, but in the beginning, it was a good debate because at first, you know, it's like you could see both his point of view and Monica's point of view. Because with him, at first, it's like it seemed like he was concerned about the people that Wanda's got trapped in this hex, because she's got an entire town of people trapped in this alternate reality, and they're all undergoing extreme mental pain. Essentially, Wanda has robbed them of their free will, and they're doing exactly what she wants them to do, and it's legit. It's hurting them. It's hurting their both mentally and physically. Um, and so and the whole thing is that Vision, over the course of these episodes, he slowly realized what's going on. um and so he's trying to get her to stop, and Wanda, being wrapped up with guilt and grief and feelings of just I would say, you know, hostility and bitterness towards her situation, uh, because I mean she got served up a shit sandwich. So I liked the psychological dynamic behind all of this. I like the idea that it was at the heart of it. It's Scarlet Witch trying to use her powers to basically make the world as she believes it should be, based on, you know, what she's going. You know, uh, um, it's a great storyline metaphor for the concept of like processing grief, or like um, figuring out, you know, becoming less naive, figuring out that the world is darker than most of us believe it should be. Um, and so she's trying to create her alternate reality, um, and she's in extreme denial. Uh, it was a very human story in my opinion. It was really good. Uh, and now the where we're getting in the narrative, it's of course white guy. It's not just his point of view, to protect people. Of course, now there's a secret agenda behind it, and it's evil jackbooted thugs trying to take away power from a woman. That's another little undercurrent they've introduced, which yeah, we didn't. Yeah, it's not like we had enough of that. No, but it's the little twist they introduced about Agatha Harkness. There's a witch from the comics, Agatha Harkness, who trained Scarlet Witch and who is essentially she's kind of an emotional plot point for Scarlet Witch in the comics, because I think there's a point where Scarlet Witch loses her grip on reality and ends up killing Agatha, and it's a point of guilt and distress for her, and Agatha's spirit doesn't make it any better. Um, so they introduced Agatha as being the neighbor that has been in every episode so far. That seemed to. It was almost as if she seemed to have a little bit more cognition or control than the other members of the Westview matrix, I guess is the best way to put it. Um, and yeah, like they revealed that deep she was actually manipulating things from behind the scenes. So these little moments where there would be like a glitch in Wanda's reality, um, it turns out that those were all Agnes's doing. Which I'm kind of mixed on this story point. On one point, I think it's kind of cool. I like the idea of introducing characters from the comics and all, especially like I like how they're delving more into the mystical side of things a little bit. Uh, Based on from what happened in Doctor Strange, it was like it seemed like they were gonna set up like, okay, we've been dealing with science and physical threats and all this stuff. Now let's get into some more nuanced, mystical, spiritual stuff. So I mean, in a sense, like introducing Agatha Harkness and all, it's like that kind of fits in with that that theme of, it's like we're bringing in mystical people now. It's like Agatha is not science based in the slightest. So there's that. um, but at the same time, I thought that Agatha I liked the idea that, like, when I was first watching these glitches happening in the show, it seemed to coincide with whenever Wanda is being hit with a little bit of a dose of reality. Like, somebody or something reminds her of her trauma. And it's in those moments when all of a sudden, like, something happens where, like, somebody starts to kind of break out of their conditioning, or there's a glitch in the world around them, like uh, objects and things keep changing uh, outside of her control. And to me, I thought like it made sense in terms of like this is her world of denial, and when you breach her world of denial with reality, she loses a little focus. It ruffles her feathers. It gets her rattled. So it would make sense that she would start to kind of lose a little bit of control in those moments where she's caught emotionally off guard. I thought that uh, would be a much better explanation than just deferring it to, well, it was this tricky little witch lady the whole time, played by the lady who went nuts on meth on the internet, who was talking about Britney Spears saving us all from Satan. Um, it felt kind of cheap to me, but but at the same time, it's like it's one of those things that I think it's fine because it's like I do like introducing more characters into the mix. Um, Darcy's funny in the show. Uh, yeah. So WandaVision, to me, it was like it's one of the few semi bright spots in the Disney lineup, but with everything that Disney's up to right now, and with the with just this bizarre totalitarianism arising in just from just sheer discourse, um, I just wouldn't recommend it. Um, find another way to learn about the story or something. Disney Plus, Disney's just it's a corrupt company from top down. There's no there's no excusing it. There's no talking your way around it. I'm one of those people who really wants to believe that it's not as shitty as it is, but the evidence just keeps mounting up, and it's like you can't ignore that. I don't. It's not wise to It's well, I mean, I don't need to get into all that shit. I was talking about pop culture, and I went into some deep crap. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much where my head's been at for the most part. Uh, MCU. I hope. Uh, I hope that the people in charge of Disney get their shit together, but it's not looking like that. So, I think the best thing for all fans of the MCU is to just be happy with what we've got, and try to move on. Try to move on. Okay, well, this has been my post for the day. So uh, I will be talking some more very soon, once my brain starts working again. All right, I'll talk to y'all later.